He says, "Will you be at Big Business in Boston or a meet and greet? You're my top 5 favorites of all time. Last time I saw you was Money in the Bank in Boston. Amazing performance. You still look great." So there you go.
Why,
Rob, you be
thank
in
you for
Big
that.
Business in Boston. That's an AEW event coming up.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, at this time, I don't know if I'm on that.
Okay.
So can't confirm. Doesn't mean that I won't be there. I'm not booked at this moment on that, but a lot of these bookings happen 2 days before they happen. And I don't know if it's because guys are injured or what, or if it's listening to the fans or just who knows. Either way, I'm glad to be in the opportunity that I'm in, to just be on standby and like when I'm able to make it, then it's awesome and it gets a lot of excitement going. And shit, I'm inspiring the hell out of people that thought your body falls apart at 30 too. So that's a pretty cool position to accept as far as like if I'm gonna, everyone always asks, what's your legacy? As far as leaving something behind now. If you asked me a year ago, I wouldn't even thought of that. Every time someone says, what's your legacy you're gonna leave behind? I always say if I understand that question right, I hope that people learn to be themselves and not worry about having to fit in with others whose values don't match yours, and don't worry about questioning, what's wrong with me? How come I'm not into that same shit? And I think it's stupid that those guys are into, because that's how I am with 99% of things people are into. But anyway, now I think that's all changed. I mean, just from the feedback, what I stand for right now, at least temporarily in a lot of people's minds that have mentioned my name in the last 2 weeks, they think of holy shit, 53, healthy as fuck. And I knew that, but to inspire people and impress upon them a positive thing like that also hopefully gives them hope for themselves. Certainly gives me hope for them that they'll look at their lives a little different if they felt a lot more limited than they should. So now I think that's probably going to be part of my legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just the simple fact that you have the foundation of stretching and putting that into making that such a huge aspect of your wrestling acumen, and then later on coming up and then just like showing that you're very still capable of doing everything that you're still able to do. You still look great and everything like that. It just kind of further sets the bar for a lot of those other veteran wrestlers or people that want to keep that longevity in the business. So, and
Yeah,
that's
no,
great.
that's true. Shit, if I go after the AEW championship, say I collect that fucking gold and add that and become the only wrestler to have held the WWE, TNA, ECW, and AEW championship. I mean, I do shit like that. I'm always finding new ways to stand out and be one of a kind. Imagine if that happened, how inspired people would be in general to think they grew up watching me decades ago, and then here at 53, they're seeing me prospectively maybe having the best matches or the best year of my career. Even if they could just look at it that way from a small point of view, it's that's just amazing.
That is. And you know what? Hey, no better time to have that maybe potential title match happen is at the 420 Collision. You got announced for that coming up, the AEW Collision 420.
Yeah,
What a
that
better
is.
time to go up against maybe Samoa Joe if he's still the world champ at that point, or somebody else. Who knows?
And the Collision is the weekly show that's on Saturdays.
Saturday.
Okay.
On
Yeah.
Saturday. Yep.
Yeah. They must have something in mind to have booked me this far ahead of time for that very special date. But I've been booked and unbooked several times already in the last like 3 months for that. And so it's like, I am available. That just got canceled again. So cool. Looking forward to it,
Yeah,
And
man.
by the way, as far as it's not hard to find what perspective personally what angle to take to look at this as being the best year. I mean, there's always the perspective of business, of what it's like for me, being compensated for my time and controlling my own schedule. And those are things that, although I don't talk in detail about as much, are obviously the most important when it comes to me handling my own business. So, there's always that, I mean, let's just say I did a lot of matches in WWE to make up for a much smaller number of matches now. And I mean, I don't know how detailed. I mean, I think I even like said something recently open about it, but anyway, you just wouldn't believe it. And if you knew, then you would think right now I'm definitely living my best life. If you compared, say, 66 matches to 5 matches, let's say, from actual history,
Yeah.
and then you would say, holy shit, like that's really hard to believe. But I'm just telling you that, man, I really like being an independent contractor. And I'm happy with all the choices that got me here where I'm at right now. So if I can inspire other people to live the best lives they can, then fuck yeah, I'm all about it.
Heck yeah, dude. And like even last week you gave advice on how to like what your diet is and how your workout regimen. And then on top of it, we get the RVDology at the end of every show too. So it's just like, boom, if you guys want this kind of stuff, Rob has it for you right here. That's it.
That's it, man.
That's it. Hey, we got another super chat. Ooh, another super chat. It is, let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to pull it up. Seamless transition here. Comments. There it is. All right. There it is. Wait, that's not it either. A DP 1997. Thank you for the £9.99. Rob, are you in WWE 2K24? If so, I'll pre-order it right now.
Man, I get asked that question a lot. And I don't know.
There we go.
Which is common.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, you're going to make me, I can't turn my back on synchronicity because this is how the universe communicates with me. All right. The 66 matches I was talking about was my return to WWE in 2013. Mm-hmm. I did 66 matches in 90 days. I had a 3-month contract, 66 matches. And I knew what my guarantee was. Was I going to beat my guarantee? I mean, that's a lot of matches. You would think that the guarantee would be low enough, but it was so questionable. Every day before the show, when people are working out in the ring, I'd go up to Mark Carano. And I'd be like, dude, what's up, man? Is it, am I going to break the guarantee? Because, just being there. Anyway, what it depended on was I going to be in WK 215 or whatever the fuck they called it. Mm-hmm. That year's video game. And Mark Carano would tell me every day, he'd be like, you know what? You joined, he said you joined right after they cast everybody for the game, but I don't think it was too late. I think they might have added you on it, but I'm not sure. And he would say, let me find out. And so I would keep checking with him every day, and that was what was going to depend on if I beat my guarantee or not. Was if I'm in the video game, I'm going to beat my guarantee. If not, it's going to be right about neck and neck, which means if I got injured and stayed home for the 3 months, I would have got paid the same as I got paid for the 66 matches. And I'm telling you right now that if you can imagine, if that was what I was getting paid for 5 matches now, then you would imagine I would have a pretty happy mindset now, not wishing that I was back in the day. And that's a lot to take in. And I know life is amazing, but you work for peanuts because you work so much that it all adds up in the end. So I signed a year deal for before, a year at a time, 3-year deals. And anyway, if you like, I said last week, I talked about they gave me $500 when I first went there and worked Johnny Stamboli, Johnny the Bull in Atlanta, and I got $500, and I was like, I can't. That's when Pat Patterson had a talk with me in Mellon Arena. You're gonna make a lot of money here, kid. And it's like, dude, like I said, add a zero on that. I was making that before I got here, and now I'm in WWE in front of these huge crowds, and you're gonna pay me that. And the thing is, one, the money does come up, the bigger star you are, and the more they decide to pay you. But also, the other fact is if you're working 250 days in a year, then even that 500 ends up being 125 grand. At that pay, you'd work your ass off for that 125 grand. And then, when it comes to hotel pay and shit, they're sketchy about that. And anyway, that's all part of the job. But Mark Carano kept saying, I think you're in it. And then, no, I guess you didn't. You're not in this year's video game. I don't know until it comes out. And so I wasn't in that game. And so what I made for those 66 matches was the same that I could have made for staying home if I was injured. Like in 2015, when I injured my knee. Was that 15? No, I'm sorry, 2005. I saw the 5. But when I injured my knee and I was off for 12 months, one of my favorite years of my whole career. And that's because I made my guarantee, which I would have made working, Jesus, I don't know, 300 days that year.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, as an independent contractor, I can, with WWE, when you get booked, when I say you, that's generally speaking, but a lot of us, when we get booked, it's not about the payday, whereas usually it is. That's how we make our living. You want me to come and wrestle for you, this is what I need. But if WWE says, hey, are you able to come in and announce the fucking draft picks or whatever, for me, it's not like, okay, well, let's start negotiating. Okay, here's what I need, because it's not that big of a deal where, I mean, they could probably just replace me with someone and say, okay, never mind, because they already have a budget figured out, whatever they're going to pay you if they pay you. And it's, it's not even about that with them normally. Mm-hmm. Although it would be, unfortunately, it wasn't for me when they had me come back to my first Royal Rumble after I left way back in 2007. When I did that following Royal Rumble, that's exactly how I felt when they wanted me to come back. I did this big surprise. And for me, it was like, it's not really about the money here. So I didn't stick it to them, but I should have, because it was a really big appearance. And because they would have paid, because when I left, our pay-per-views were really decent, paydays, and they were almost every month, pretty much. And instead, my ego took over, and I was like, I'm gonna show Johnny that I'm not hungry out here without him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stupid. When I look back at it, I definitely could have got 3 times, 4 times what I got, but I wanted to show, like, yeah, I can do that. Sure, no problem. And later on, when I get booked, it's just about that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So now it's a lot different. But WWE pays you, or at least they used to. I guess it's different now. And I hear the guarantees are much higher now and they're restructured completely different. But it used to be, like if you looked at the guarantee of what you'd get at the end of the year, I'm going to at least get that no matter what. And then, that's how a lot of times you get kicked in the balls along the way on live events, especially when they're doing A, B, and C shows, because they're drawing smaller crowds. They're split up too much, and that's why they stopped doing that. But yeah, and I didn't know when I first got there that sometimes the checks would be much bigger. So that's I didn't. That was something I didn't feel like I had much control over. I had some control. I say I like being an independent contractor, but it really depended on how much balls I had. I could have at any time gone to the office and complained or suggested we'd make some changes or whatever. They always would have been open to that. I'm not saying I wouldn't have got heat for it, or that a lot of other wrestlers would have gotten a lot more heat than I would have for it, but that doesn't make it an employee-employer situation in my mind.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And to your point about like the video game, I think Kev Nash was just asked that about the same thing. Is he going to be in 2K24? How many outfits or something? He's like, I had no idea. He had no idea either. So it's an ongoing thing kind of thing. And yeah. Whoa. Rob, we already have another super chat. Boom. Super chat. Another super chat. Where is it at?